Now, the rest of the story.
All right, good evening. Welcome back, everybody. Well, you're going to have to just work with me here because I'm kind of getting shook around in this machine. I like this JCB. The tracks are kind of rough riding, but they also provide the stability and everything that you need to really get around, especially with the conditions that I've been working around the last 24 hours. This is day 2 that I've been in this machine down at my place. That's where I'm currently at. I've been doing a little bit of everything from pushing gravel to moving bales, as you can tell, and cleaning out some fences, removing some fences, tree work, picking up trees and all that. And I gotta tell you, this machine is exactly what I needed 15 years ago. This thing is a brute. Once you get comfortable running it and start to get really efficient running it, you can do a lot of different tasks that with that 773 of my dad's we couldn't even hope to do. Key point would be I pushed a bunch of gravel that was at the bottom of my driveway because of all this wonderful rain we've been getting all year. I was actually pushing gravel from the bottom of my driveway clear up to the top and leveling everything out again. And that's something I couldn't have hoped to do with my dad's 773. Just the power and the traction that we have. It's just it's completely unrealistic to try to even do that with my dad's machine. But this thing, it's a brute. It pretty much does whatever you ask it to. Like you said, the only thing that is maybe a downside to it is the fact that driving around on hard surfaces with a heavy load, like a bucket full of gravel. Well, Bale doesn't want to give up. A bucket full of gravel going across a hard surface will shake you out of your seat. That's pretty much just the nature of tracks in general. I am using the float option that allows the loader to take some of that vibration out, which is huge because I'm pretty sure I'd have fillings rattling out of my teeth if I wasn't using that option. But as of right now, I'm putting bales away. These bales have been sitting out for 2 weeks. I would have put them in a week ago, but Dad and Ryan were busy. I had a bunch of leveling out and dirt work I had to do in the pole shed that it really needed because it was kind of eroded away from the cows standing on the outside of the shed because the cow lot is right around this pole shed, and the cows have a tendency to stand next to it and chew away at the dirt. So I got the dirt built back up and everything's leveled out, and I'm stacking these 20 or so waterway bales back in here, get them out of the weather. The sun bleached them a little bit, but overall these are going to make some really nice feed quality bales. The bottoms you can see right here. There's a little bit of water damage from sitting on the ground outside for so long, but pretty much negligible. I'm planning on feeding these out. Well, they're the first in the shed, so they'll be the last ones fed, of course. But it's first cutting grass, and it yielded better than I thought it would. Not the best that it ever has, though. The best that I've ever had it yield, as far as the amount of bales go, I believe was right around 35 over the same amount of acres that I baled this year. And I pretty much want to say that it's the moisture. The rain actually kept me from cutting a bunch because there's water standing in our waterways. So that's a new aspect of this year that I've never had to deal with before. In all my years seeing water or having a water table up so high that we got water standing in some of our waterways that are actually drained, I mean, it's it's kind of a sight to see, and it's really something I hope that isn't a year after year ordeal. So it is getting late. I'm trying to play catch up. That week of me being shut down or out of commission really slowed me up, because I would have been doing all this work down at my place last week if I really could have. I took the week off. Didn't really want to. It was kind of forced upon me. Yeah, I really could have forced myself out and struggled through the sprain damage I have. I just sprained my foot again tonight, literally 10 minutes before I started this camera up. And if it wasn't for the brace that I have on my ankle, plus the fact that I have my boot, my work boot, laced down so tight on it, I probably would have been laying on the ground again. So I can definitely feel that it's swelled up. That's kind of the joys of being on a family operation. I'm not working for anybody else. As far as a family operation goes, how hard we work determines how much we get paid and how much we make at the end of the year. So there's definite incentive to be out and working every day, and at least making sure that you're being productive. But on the same note, because it's a family farm, with everybody that's here, Dad, Ryan, my mom, Brittany, everybody else is able to take up the slack from me not being around for a few days. It's not like I wasn't around. I was actually right in the house, or I was actually running around on the gator a couple times. Andrew was taking me around and showing me all the crops. But it was probably for the better, because if I would have went outside and actually got dressed up and claiming that I was going to take it easy even though I was all dressed up and ready to run, I would have worked, I would have done something. I'd probably be out doing this last week and tore up my ankle even more. It's definitely not at 100%, and it's still definitely weak. But as I can say, it's not as bad as last week, and I'll be saying the exact same thing next week, is that at least it's not as bad as it was last week. And I'm hoping I'll be pretty well healed up by harvest. And I'll say this boot thing I'm wearing is annoying, but it already paid for itself, because I tweaked my ankle pretty good. I stepped crooked on a rock, and it bent my ankle pretty much the worst way it could have. If I wasn't braced up, I probably wouldn't be down for another week for how bad it just tried to blow out on me. So that's why I'm working late, playing catch up, playing with machinery. I mean, there aren't too many jobs in this world where you get to do this on a daily basis. And see if I can't make use of this telescoping boom. I should have had the lights on in here. That's so handy. It sure beats. I can stack the bales 3 tall with my dad's machine, but it takes a little bit of finessing and a fair amount of experience. And with this machine, I can just set it right up there and drop it down. back up real slow without dropping the whole stack down on me. Just like that. See, I only have 20 bales to put in here, but we may have lost a little bit of quality on them. But I want to preserve as much of it as we can. And for being what they are, these bales look really nice. I think it's a combination of that rhino tedder and getting them baled in a timely manner, and that little bit of dry spell we did have. I don't know if I ever told you guys that, but we did not. I repeat, we did not. Kind of ashamed to say it. Get all of our second crop that was on the ground made. I had maybe 3 acres of waterways, of course, because that's pretty much what second crop consists of. And in July is I try to make all the pasture and waterways we can. The goal is to make it again here the 1st September, because I am greedy. I want to make every single stitch and stack of bales of cow feed that we can, because I think it's going to be short this year. And if it isn't short, at least for us, it sounds like there's plenty of other operators out there that are really hurting for feed. So if we have even a load or two that we could justify selling next April or so, it'd be worth it. Everybody's wondering where the $200+ per ton grass hay is getting sold at. I'll tell you what, it's not that you can get that year around. It's pretty much just timing the market. We only do it the last 2 years that we have done it. It's in the spring. It was after long miserable winters, and I've been watching the market report. I typically watch the market report around that time of year and see what the hay market is doing, if we're getting to where we can justify letting a load go, and we go from there. This stuff, for being just waterway grass, we sold some 2 years ago. It might have been this year too. It was over 200 bucks a ton. We sold 2 loads this year, and the year before I think we sold 3 or 4 for 200 bucks a ton. Not year round. I've also sold it for 70 bucks a ton. It all depends on the time of year you want to move it. Even in January. In January, I believe we didn't, but we could have sold hay last January of 2019 for like 70 bucks a ton. And that isn't worth the hassle of fighting the snow and the ice and the trailer, the salt in the road and all that fun stuff just to get it up there. So as far as this stuff, I don't know if we're gonna get this shed full. This shed, the section I'm filling right now, will hold 90 to 100 bales, depending on how you're able to stack them in there. The lean-to, over there, normally we stack a bunch of bales in there. Won't be stacking any hay because we have all of my dad's cows down here, all of his calves down here this year. We switched everything up with our pastures because, well, if Ryan has all his out there, it just made sense to keep all my dad's down here. So I need a place where I can put my dad's calves and get them weaned off here in September, October. So that's the goal for that. But it's just pre-planning, planning ahead. And I hate that dreaded P word. Plan, that's a 4-letter word around here. Because plans are exactly that. They're more like guidelines from what you're actually going to do. So that needs a little bit of TLC over there. Side note, that lean-to, my grandpa actually built himself back, gosh, I don't know when he did it anymore. But you see that guardrail? That used to be the extent of this pole shed. And Grandpa put that lean-to on way back when. You see, I got a hole back there. That back wall is kind of blowing out. I need to do something with it, but I don't know. One job at a time. I say I've been saying I got a list as long as my arm of everything we need to try to get done here this year yet. I'm afraid to actually write that list out because I'm afraid I'm not gonna be able to find enough paper to write it on, or the list is literally gonna go down to the floor if I'm reading it at the top. So literally just one job at a time, and what we don't get done this year, I guess we'll just move to next year. So as far as going into this fall, am I looking forward to harvest? Am I optimistic? Yes, I am optimistic for this fall. I'm optimistic my foot's going to be feeling better. But as far as grain prices, right now they're puking. I did forward sell enough corn. I didn't sell any soybeans, which time will tell going into this fall if that was the right or wrong move. But I sold enough corn for my parents and myself that I'm very comfortable going into this fall as far as knowing that I made enough forward sales. Do I wish I would have sold more? Abso-freaking-lutely. But you know what? That's why I market the way I market. I don't try to sell everything at the top of the market, because that is guaranteed to burn you 9 times, 9.5, you know what, 9.9 times out of 10. And ever since I started doing the marketing the way I've been doing it, I've been so much happier. At least I can sleep at night, you know? And that's what really counts, because I don't sleep worth a dang as it is, because all my other stuff I got going on. But at least if I can't sleep at night, it's not because of poor grain marketing choices. And I gotta say, that's a nice quality feed, if I haven't said it enough already. If we don't get this shed filled up with hay going into this fall, we most certainly will. Well, I can't say that for certain if we have a fall like last year, but if I can get a bunch of corn fodder made, which I'm gonna have to, it's not a if I can, there's no argument, I have to get corn fodder made. But I'll stack that shed the rest of the way full with corn fodder. And if we have those calves out of here by then, because I'm not overwintering those calves here, I just need to be able to put them in there for a week or two, long enough that they don't miss their mamas and their mamas don't miss them. Then I can go and load them up, take them out and dump them out in the steer shed out at my brother's place, because that's set up for raising calves. And then if that frees up this lean-to, then I'll go ahead and shove it full of fodder bales then, because you cannot underestimate how awesome it is, how nice it is in January when all the rest of your corn fodder has been rained on or iced on or is literally just solid bricks. How nice it is to be able to go and get some corn fodder that has been shedded inside and be able to pull off that for a while, at least until maybe possibly it warms up enough or gets you through to some better weather where the bales that are stacked outside can kind of thaw out a little bit. Last year we didn't have that. Last year was probably in a very extreme case where all of our fodder was baled out or was left outside. The good fodder was stacked in a way that, well, I just didn't have any place to put it inside. But then we got a rainstorm in January, so our good fodder and our nasty corn fodder let go. And all of our wet, nasty corn fodder that I was forced to bale because of our fall conditions. I just never had a chance to get any dry corn fodder for the second half of the fodder we made. It got rained on in January, and then it got really cold, so all of our fodder that was stacked up outside were literally frozen together in one big solid brick, and that made for a very long winter. So the goal is to be, well, gosh, I hate to say it because it makes me sound bad for previous years. I want to say that we'll be on making our fodder and everything a little bit quicker this year, but the problem is it's not that we weren't on it quick last year. It was purely just the weather and everything else that we had thrown at us. We just weren't given the right amount of conditions to get all our fodder made properly. So, all right, oof. All right, guys, camera's about to die. So, you guys are watching the rest of the story. Thanks for riding along. I'll catch you guys next time. So until then, take care, take it easy, keep in touch. I'll talk to you later. Bye.